Today's summer scent is giving me clean psychopath vibes for some reason. Hello, welcome back to Seldomly Often. I'm Daniel. Today we're talking fragrances and this is a practical review of Maison Kurkdjian's Gentle Fluidity Silver. These reviews are for fragrances I have a lot of experience with, multiple wearers in many situations, and are meant to give you a general idea of what the scent smells like. As per usual, I do a lot of research before buying fragrances these days, but I don't really like to go into details about notes and accords, as I don't really feel that they benefit the end user much. I'd rather talk about the wear experience as a whole. Today's fragrance is a highly requested one. The first time I talked about Maison Kurkdjian was with Oud, a fragrance that I generally really liked. I loved the scent profile. I think it's super classy, super elegant, very clean, very wearable. And many of you guys were immediately asking about a review for Gentle Fluidity Silver. This fragrance is very hyped in the community. It's known to be like the perfect summer freshie. It's also known to be one of the longer lasting summer fresh fragrances on the market currently. So we'll talk about that also. Gentle Fluidity Silver is a strange scent. I've had this for a while. I started wearing this in spring just because I sort of bought into the marketing hype. I obviously tried it beforehand, but I officially started wearing this, I would say, 4 months ago. I started spraying this while it was still cold, but I actually started wearing this a lot to the office, the gym, and basically as my everyday scent a lot as the temperature rose a little bit. I wanted to see what the performance was in the summer. Summers are hard on scents usually. You evaporate a lot, and mainly a lot of the typical summer notes such as citruses, such as fresh herbs, those are generally notes that don't last, period. So take that, combine it with high heat, and basically fragrances just evaporate off the skin. Yes, in some ways heat does help projection because it helps the scent evaporate, but that evaporation ultimately wears the scent down and burns it off, literally off your skin. So I got this originally just because I sort of bought into the hype. I thought it was interesting. I do like traditional citruses, but I was sort of looking for something a little bit longer lasting that was still classy and not weird in a way. I recently reviewed Marc-Antoine Ganymede, and that is super long lasting, fresh, but it is on the weirder side. It's definitely not mass appealing as a scent profile, and you really have to like that kind of fragrance to wear it and enjoy it. This, on the other hand, was supposed to be much more mass appealing and elegant and kind of like quiet. So I have quite a bit of experience now with Maison Kurkdjian, also known as MFK in the community. My take on the fragrance house is that they are a very traditional French, sort of understated fragrance house. And I initially found the house kind of boring just because the scent profiles are very simple in a way. They're simple, they're not too loud, they're not too shouty, and I don't think that any of the scent profiles really have a huge wow effect in them. So I was always putting this after something like Amouage, which is by design very wow inducing, or at least some of the fragrances from Amouage can be very much wow inducing. This sort of reminds me of my experience with BDK, so just very simple, quiet, elegant fragrances. I have to say that after wearing Oud, after wearing Grand Soir, and after wearing this for a while, and these are very wearable fragrances, all of them actually, I came to appreciate this kind of perfumery. It's not necessarily my taste, but this actually is a type of perfumery that I really enjoy and appreciate just because it's well crafted. It has a lot of intention behind it. I feel that the house knows what they want and what they're doing. Before diving into the scent profile, as per usual, we talk about the presentation. And I have to say that Maison Kurkdjian is one of the fragrance houses that rides that in-between line almost the best. They're not too over the top, but they still feel luxurious and high quality. And for some reason, I really like the Maison Kurkdjian bottle design for the 70 ml. These like cubes here are 70 ml. They look much smaller, and in real life they feel smaller, but they're compact, beautiful. I think that the shaper is really nice. They're really elegant. The caps are really great. They're friction based. but they're metal, they're very shiny, and I don't know, it just really works well. Something that I find kind of quirky is the font on them. On many of these, it's really hard to read the actual fragrance name and stuff. Like on this, it's kind of like a gray on transparent. Also on Grand Soir, it's like a gold on orange, basically. And the font itself is kind of this like cheap serif font. It feels like just default Times New Roman. I don't know, it's just funny. And in a way, it's just, I think it's part of the charm. On the back of the bottle, you have this like etched or just engraved the MFK logo. On the bottom, you have the usual information. I think that it's really good. The atomizers for these are pretty decent. They do their job. For some reason, I get some variability in the atomizers. So the atomizer on the oud fragrance and on this one here are, I would say, average or just above average. Let's give it a couple sprays here. While the atomizer on Grand Soir is actually exceptional. For some reason, it just changes quite a bit. The price of these fragrances is also pretty good value, at least in my area. I can get these and the lines which are not the ouds for about $130 to, let's say, $170. And again, they ride that perfect balance between luxurious and approachable. And I think that they're great. They're great daily wears. I can wear this without feeling too conscious about like wasting it or anything. And that balance of just luxurious feeling and high quality product is also in the box. And the box is a simple box. It's a simple cardboard box, but it has a really unique aesthetic. It has this sort of like a drawer design. It's unnecessary, but it just adds a tiny bit more character to it. And the box, by the way, this I would say cheaper line. I'm not even sure if it's a cheaper line or anything, but the box of this one here in Grand Soir differentiates from the oud line, which are a little bit more flashy. They have like this gold leaf thing going on. So there's that, but it's just a box. It doesn't really matter. It's not crazy wild or anything like that. On to the scent experience. So speaking of the wearability, I have a little bit of a dent here, and despite this being a new fragrance for me, just because I tend to spray quite a bit on myself each time I wear it. So one of the positives of this fragrance right off the bat is that you can wear a lot of it, spray a ton of it, and it will still be very polite, mass appealing, and very wearable. You're gonna never feel like you have to shower it off just because you went overboard with the sprays. The scent profile, as I mentioned before, is kind of, I wouldn't say typical of Maison Kurkdjian, but it has that simple, understated elegance. It's very clean, it's very French, it's very elegant. They are objectively well crafted. If I were to lean into that extreme, I would say they're a little bit boring, but I don't want to say that because I do appreciate the thought behind it and the art behind it. Many influencers have talked about this fragrance, and yes, as soon as you spray it, you get this very fresh blast of like juniper. It's a very herbaceous, green, aromatic opening, which is very refreshing and very invigorating. I would say that this is mood uplifting, and this is a great way to start the day. And although it's pretty fresh and uplifting, I would not say that it's, as some people describe it, glacial. So some people will go overboard with the description and they say that this thing here, you spray it on and it cools the air around you and it kind of like brings the temperature down a couple notches. I would not say that, just because this fragrance is surprisingly dense for what it is. Again, bottle design, liquid color, a little bit deceiving here. It is fresh and in a way kind of like herbaceously pungent, but it is dense. And the density translates well to the dry down. The dry down of this fragrance is actually not fresh at all. I wouldn't even consider it fresh. So basically what happens is you get in the opening this fresh juniper berry thing going on. There are some spices. It feels like there's something else in there, something sweet. It might be like coriander. I think it was coriander in the notes or something like that. But immediately as you spray it, you already perceive the base notes of this one here. And this is, I wouldn't consider it too fresh because you get this musky, ambery, woody thing going on. and the woods aren't really heavy. It's more of a clean, dusty sandalwood, but there's something about it. I can't really put my finger on it. There's something about it that makes it very heavy in a way, and I think it's some sort of fixative, some sort of compound, artificial compound that is meant to give it longevity, that somehow it interacts with this like freshness, and it makes this, it gives you kind of an oily feeling. Now, when I say dense, it's always in relative terms, but I would say this is almost denser than the oud fragrance. The oud is much more classical in its formulation and what you expect. Well, this one here is a little bit more artificial and modern, and the modernity is given by this like artificial compound of some sort. I worn this today as my office scent, as my day scent, and yes, here I have the opening, and up here I have the dry down. They smell remarkably similar. You don't get that fizziness, but you still get the herbaceousness even in the dry down. But there is this, again, there's something about it. I think it could be something like ambroxan. I'm not really sure what it is. It doesn't smell like typical ambroxan. It might be maybe a higher quality ambroxan, but there's something in there, this sort of a fixative that you can really smell. It has a distinct smell, kind of like ambroxan. In my intro, I said that this kind of gives me clean psychopath vibes. And in a way, I still stand by that. I might be biased by the bottle design, so it's clear with a clear juice. But it's also the kind of artificialness of that base note there. And I think that is actually one of the clearest defining factors of what this smells like. I haven't smelled it in anything else, not in such a prominent way. It's almost like this fragrance here sort of embraces it as its profile. And it does smell, in a way, it smells artificial. It doesn't smell synthetic like Ganymede does, but somehow it doesn't smell natural. But again, there's something about this that really fits in with like a clean white room with white desk and a very light atmosphere, and maybe like a nice, clean, simple suit. I don't know why, I just kind of get the psychopath vibes from it. I actually like it, and I think it's fun and characterful. Yes, I said that I picture this kind of with a suit in a clean office space, like super minimal, but at the same time, this is highly, highly wearable. You can wear this in any condition, in any type of situation. I would say it's more of a daytime scent, so this is great for, again, work. It's great for the gym, it's great for just casual going out, it's great for just wearing around the house. Any age can wear this. You can wear this as a young adult, or you can wear this as a more adult, put together person. I think this is completely fine. And this is part of the magic of Maison Kurkdjian. They really make scents that are just clean and elegant and very, very wearable. This has great signature scent potential. I think it's really good for that. And I think that it would fit perfectly in a wardrobe of a person that maybe doesn't have too many fragrances. The longevity on this is, I think it's also perfectly tailored. It's not incredibly long lasting. It's not beast mode by any stretch, but you get a full day's wear out of this. And yes, the projection at the start is pretty great. It's not super huge, like room filling, but it's good enough. You can smell it throughout the wear. And as soon as you start moving, basically the scent sort of like reignites, so you can really smell it. At the end of the workday, there are hints of it on skin. If you go close, like here I have a dry down, I can still smell the herbaceousness. I can still smell that fixative in here, but it's not completely overwhelming. This would be easy to wipe off, like maybe with a damp towel, and just you can reapply something, take a shower, whatever. This is like the perfect day scent to transition into night. I have zero complaints about the longevity. Yeah, I think this is great, and actually I'm pretty surprised because I reviewed oud not that long ago, and my opinion on MFK has changed quite a bit. Is this kind of fragrance approach my new favorite? Hardly. I still tend to like a little bit more of a transportative, narrative fragrance. But hey, I'm growing to appreciate these, and you never know what might happen. As per usual, I would like to thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. It's always massively appreciated. Thank you for all the encouragement, and feel free to leave any kind of comment, suggestion, or opinion down below. I always reply. I love engaging with you guys. Until next time, until the next review, see ya, cheers.